Are we live, Poseidon? Is that what those finger guns mean?
Si, senor.
Welcome, everybody. Top of the morning to you. Happy Friday if you are on Patreon. Patreon.com/Pantelis. There's a new French cast up. It's been up since yesterday. I had a lot of fun with David Bocage. Everyone else is going to get to see it later. But for right now, if you're a patron, head over there. You can listen to it. You can watch it. We got new graphics and a new sponsor. Did I tell you guys about Just Meet It? If you don't know already, head over to justmeetit.ca, link in the description. If you use promo code COMEDY, you get 10% off your order. Just Meet It. They got elk. They got ostrich. They got wapiti, which is French for elk. And I like saying wapiti. It's the funnest thing you can do right now. They also got bison. Let's be honest. You're not going to hunt a goddamn bison. You're a liar. You're not going to hunt bison. Go and get it from justmeetit.ca. Use the promo code, get yourself a discount. These are free-range animals. Animals from Quebec, most of them. Animals that don't use antibiotics. They don't use any performance-enhancing drugs, all right? They're not the Lance Armstrong of animals. They're who's the most natural animal person? Who's the most athletic?
The Jamaican
They're the
runner.
Michael Jordan. They're the Michael Jordan of animals. He never did anything. He fucking plays sick. That's what they do. They don't get sick, these fucking animals. So justmeetit.ca. I was just talking to Spiro. He's been eating their meats for a minute, and he's excited. I think me and him are going halfers. We're getting some of that. What is it? Wagyu. We're going to make some fucking Wagyu meatballs. It's going to be a good time. Anyways, justmeetit.ca. Head over there. Patreon.com/Pantelis to get some exclusive fucking content. George, we don't got no Phil today. But I'm excited that you're bringing the news. I was watching videos about Justin Trudeau. They were ridiculing him, and it made me laugh. So I'm hoping you might have some ridiculous Trudeau-related news. You got something for us?
Yeah, a few.
Yeah.
What videos were you watching of Trudeau?
I was watching him get grilled over the Who. Remember the We scandal.
Yeah.
Remember the money where they keep saying $500,000 to his wife or whatever. But in total with his mom, it's millions of dollars that they got.
Yeah, but we spoke about this. I have absolutely no problem with his mom, his brother, his wife. Maybe his wife, maybe less, but his mom and his brother, they're private individuals. If any company or any organization wants to hire them to speak or whatever, they can do whatever the hell they want. I really have no issue with that. The issue I had is that back in, and we spoke about, we're not going to go over it now, but they tried to redesign a whole new employment program, and there was already one in place that worked perfectly.
Yeah.
And all this was just designed to get $1 billion over to these guys. And then all these things came out that they were friends and they had this relationship.
That's
and all
what we're
these things.
saying. You don't gotta sugarcoat it. There was some scumbaggery. And for the record, before I forget, because John Brodigan is dropping dollars in the chat, he's asking if there was a promo code for Poseidon, how much of a discount would you get? If the promo code was Poseidon, your discount would be syphilis. or even better, they would come and beat your meat. So something of that sort, something of that nature, if Poseidon had his own promo codes. But George, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on let's have programs, no issues, even if it's his family members that are working there. That's not what happened. This was clearly them greasing the wheels.
It was weird, and I sent you a clip the other day because in the beginning they were facing the finance committee. They wanted to understand what happened. How did you guys get the money? What was the procedure? Like how was the program designed? Like all these hard questions. And not long ago, they were appearing on the ethics committee because this isn't over, right? I mean, there's one question about the money, and then there's the whole thing about ethics. Were you supposed to do this program based on everything that existed? And I sent you that message where, one of these brothers was messaging all these guys, and right before the
African Americans, I wouldn't call him one of these brothers. Weird. Okay.
But it's crazy. It was like, hey, thanks for all your help, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, the guy's saying, no, we've never come in contact with any of these guys. It's like, what are you talking about? You sent him a private message on LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah, dude, that was the best. He's like, have you ever had... I never had a private message. I never even spoke to this guy. And then he's like, well, this is a screenshot from your LinkedIn where you sent him a message.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a friend request.
No, I sent the message, inviting hundreds of people. He goes, how did you invite hundreds of people? By telling them, hey, thanks for everything you did for the employment program. Is that the message you sent to 100 people to get them as friends on LinkedIn?
The lawyer must have been like, God damn, I should have worked more with this guy. This guy's a fucking buffoon.
so bad, so bad. So I don't know, these things. It's not over. Honestly, I can guarantee. Look, the strategy that the opposition is using, in my opinion, is to prolong this as much as possible, because knowing that we're going to go into elections at some point this year, either it's going to be before the summer or right after the summer, right, at fall. So they're trying to prolong this as much as possible so it can stay current in the news, so that they can just use this to hammer them during the campaign. It's gonna be a bloody campaign. Honestly, the next federal campaign is not gonna be pretty. Even though I think the Liberals might pull it off again.
That would then be. I mean, it wouldn't be individually our fault, but collectively, then that would be Canada's fault. If people are like, well, I'm closing my eyes and I'm voting for more taxes, fucking sketchy business, on the federal level, like if you're voting against your well-being, then you deserve to get fucked.
Yeah. At the same, look, I mean, how much money has he given to the people, to these people? Imagine, and we said it. Thank God that Justin Trudeau did this, right? I mean, can you imagine?
Oh, give our. I like how you're phrasing it. How much money did he give? Whose money was that he gave away?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's our money, but he's the one that kind of initiated it.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have to give it. He's the one that's giving it, though. But it is ours. But and I've said it before. I agree with the measures that he put in place. It helped thousands of families have income at a time where a lot of business went belly up and people lost their jobs or they couldn't work as much as they could.
Yeah.
I think it was necessary.
Of course it was necessary, but I want to start using that strategy when restaurants open up as well. I'm going to tell all the waiters that I know to do the same thing. When they bring the food at the table, be like, hey, I didn't have to bring this to you. I just want you to know this. Like, what are you talking about? I paid for it. No, but I didn't have to. I know you paid for it, but I didn't have to bring this for you. You're lucky I'm giving you this food. Yeah. We're going to try that at restaurants. Same thing with clothing. If you go buy something, I want the clerks to do the same thing. I paid for this shirt. Yeah, and I'm giving it to you, but I don't have to give it to you, even though I took your money.
Yeah. So look, that's going to come into play. Honestly, you'll see the next campaign is going to be based on Justin Trudeau having given money to everyone and helped them during the toughest year ever in our recent history.
Yeah.
And
what about the money you stole from the government and inevitably millions of those dollars ended up in your family's pockets through this wee scandal? Oh, that doesn't matter. Didn't I give you $8,000? What do you care about the millions I gave them? Why are you so selfish?
Yeah, he didn't give it to them. We caught them. But who knows where that money would have ended up, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's start off with some positive stuff. First of all, did you guys get fooled yesterday at all? April Fools, any of that stuff happening still? Or are people still depressed about this crazy year that we've been living in?
I missed out on the April Fool's joke. The only thing I saw, and I just tweeted yesterday morning because it made me happy, was this imbecile on Twitter, this journalist, everyone's calling themselves journalists now, who was angry with Volkswagen. Volkswagen released like obviously a joke campaign.
Yeah.
They're changing their name to Volkswagen, and they're going to go full electric because of Volts, and it was just a joke. And the guy said, this is misleading, this is terrible, this is not an April Fool's joke, you should be ashamed of yourselves, and people should sue you. And everyone on Twitter was like, man, what happened to people's sense of humor? Like, are you retarded? What are we doing right now? And everyone was just grilling this guy, and he doubled down. He kept doubling down. He's like, this is unacceptable. We can't let these companies do this to us. It's like, you're the only one who is so bent out of shape over an April Fool's joke. No one else is this upset over Volts, and it was so obviously fake.
That's such a good one, though. Yeah, you're right, man. People are taking this shit way too seriously. I saw a good one yesterday with Tom Brady. I don't know if you saw it. He put up a tweet.
No.
You didn't see it? Hold on. Let me. I'm like, oh, wow, what's going on? With all the craze about baseball coming back into to Montreal.
Oh, okay. I heard that Tom Brady was announcing that the Expos are back in Montreal.
This is exactly what he tweeted. So it's a picture of him with, I don't know if it's Photoshop, but it's the Olympic Stadium.
It's
it says
clearly
Montreal.
Photoshop.
He's wearing an Expos hat. And he says, with opening day today, excited to announce we're bringing the Expos back to the MLB in 2022. Excited to be the first player, coach, owner in MLB history. And people went crazy. They're like, yeah, Tom Brady's buying the Expos. Yeah,
obviously I think a cult was that. It's just a Montreal website that made it up. Yeah, it's just a joke.
I got
fooled.
I got fooled, actually, not by that one. I'm like, oh, come on, man, this is bullshit. But I got fooled. It was actually this morning. I saw it. I'm scrolling through Instagram, the stories, and I'm on Justin Trudeau's thing, and I see a picture with him clean shaven, everything, and he's writing. I read a lot of your comments about my beard, blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh, finally, that fucking guy shaved it. But it was an April Fool's thing.
Oh.
Yeah, so he still looks like a
clean shaven. There's an open closet door behind him. He's like, look, this is the time.
Oh God. So yeah, that was fun. I mean, I think a lot of people just missed out on April Fools. I think we've all been depressed so much with what's going on the last year that, like you said, we've kind of lost our touch with humor a bit, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I still have it. Like I'm refusing to back down. I'm still gonna laugh. I have noticed a couple of tweets and Instagram posts of people saying, "You can't make fun of this because it bothers me." I fucking don't give a shit anymore. Make fun of whatever because it bothers you. You can't make that fucking. You can't make that statement globally. That's crazy because you don't know what's gonna bother someone.
Yeah.
You know, coffee. I like coffee. Some people don't like coffee. I'm not gonna stop drinking coffee because some people don't like it. I don't give a fuck. Don't drink coffee. It ends there.
Whatever happened to minding your own business and just sticking to what you like?
Mind your fucking business, kid.
And not complaining about it. Whatever happened to that?
Whatever happened to that? You tell them. Whatever happened to that?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that?
What the fuck happened to minding your own fucking business?
Whatever happened to that? Mind your own fucking business.
More good news, guys. I read that, and you probably, it's very little, not that well known this, but Montreal will host, it's a summit. It's called the One Young World Summit in 2024. Basically, the One Young World is
like an Asian thing?
No. Number one Young World.
I thought One Young was a person and it was her world.
No. Oh, I thought you were talking about Wong. I thought like Wong.
Young,
who's Wong?
I was like, One Young World. I go, fuck, this is like some kind of a Korean influencer.
It's a global youth leader summit. It's basically like a mini version of the Davos summit. I don't know if you guys know about the Davos summit. Huge gathering of all political personalities and businessmen and all that stuff. And the One Young World Summit is kind of like a version of that, but for the youngsters. So it's a pretty cool summit. A lot of ideas exchanged in terms of business, entrepreneurship, obviously the environment, international relations, that kind of stuff. So it's cool. It's happening in Montreal in 2024. It's basically a 3-day gathering. We're talking about over 2,500 participants from like over 190 countries that are going to be in Montreal. I looked up to see what kind of revenue that usually generates, and hold on. Yeah, it's over $4 million in tourism revenue in just 3 days. So it's pretty cool.
But what does it do? We're bringing young influencers to Montreal.
It's not influencers. It's kids that are interested in politics, in international relations, and just policy. And it's kids that are involved in their own country's communities or civic communities as well. It's a huge forum where they come and exchange ideas about making the world better or implementing international policies, for example, for economy, environment, all that kind of stuff, It's okay. I mean, I enjoy these things because I like seeing young people involved and exchanging interesting ideas. The fact that it's happening in Montreal for me is nice. I mean, I think it's only the second time that Canada has hosted it, so it's cool.
But what does it do? Like I still don't get it. So like a kid from here, let's say your kids.
Let's say look, I mean, when we're looking at us, and there's very few people that we know that are actually involved, right? But all over the world, there are kids that are involved in different communities, young leaders.
Militias.
What'd you say?
Militias. Yeah, there are child soldiers.
Arms dealings and that stuff. No, but it's just youngsters that are involved politically and socially in their own little community, and they get together and they just exchange ideas on how to make like a common platform and common policy.
Okay, so it's kids meeting other kids.
Yeah, when we talk about kids, we're not talking about 13-year-olds. We're talking about young leaders. We're talking about maybe I don't know from.
I feel like you said kids in the beginning because I only thought kids when you said it.
I did say kids. I don't know. Maybe they're kids to me now that I'm 40.
Oh, how old are they? That's what I'm asking. Is how old? That's why I'm. It's not making sense to me because I'm thinking a 9-year-old flying here from Uganda and telling us about like his neighborhood. How the fuck is it gonna apply to some kids? I mean, what are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, it's we're talking about from 18, 19 to about 30 years old.
Okay, so like young, the future of politics.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's young leaders, exactly. So it's fun. It's cool. It's they're interesting exchanges, and they obviously they have a lot of support, and because there's so many of them, they rally a lot of attention from politicians as well. So they gather personalities, politicians, economists.
Do you think I should do a talk there for these kids?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
perhaps. Let them know, what they're in for.
What are they in for?
Well, depends how many naughty pictures they've sent around, but they're in for blackmail is what they're in. That's the future. The future is blackmail. Just to remind them, look, you want to make the world a better place? Rule number 1, don't be a bitch. Don't be a little bitch. Roll up your fucking sleeves and work. Stop complaining. Stop crying, especially you, the one who's actually crying right now. Stop that, Like, we should do something like that. We should let me talk to these kids. Kids, they're adults. They can handle it. It's like my TED Talk at NASA.
Did that really happen?
Of course it really happened. Where do you think they get their scientific news from? I told them why, and in clean English, why look moon for his people here? And they're like, this guy's making a lot of sense.
It's funny. It's funny that you're mentioning the moon. There's this entrepreneur, this Quebec entrepreneur that I follow. We actually went to school together. He became very popular, this guy, and he went on Instagram. He's like, ask me a question, whatever. So obviously he got like hundreds of questions, and one of the questions he was answering, it was, would you leave and go stay on the moon for 5 years? And the guy just pauses. He's like, what the fuck for?
Yeah, exactly. What a dumb question.
Would you live and go 5 years on the moon? Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do 5 years on the moon?
But press conferences now that people are used to like any kind of question, even if it fucks with them. So they'll, if you're messing with them, they'll answer aggressively or they'll make fun of you, like athletes, anything. Yeah. What you could do to throw people off is ask questions that a child would ask. That's gonna throw anybody. So you're talking about the economy, and then if there's a journalist that's like, hold on, yeah, Miss Plant, I have a question. If an eagle, but a big one, were to fight a tiger, who would win? And then just why, like, pardon? That'll dude. When you see the reset in someone's head, it's the funniest moment because they don't know how to react at first. They're like,
it should be like, I'm not sure I understand your question. I'm not sure we have tigers in Montreal.
Yeah. No, not in Montreal specifically. But you know what? We're gonna rephrase that. A bionic tiger and a bionic eagle, both with laser sight capability. Go.
Okay. She'd be like, 1 second. She looks over to her press. Actually, lasers. Is that out yet? What's happening with that? Do you think we have lines on that? Lasers on animals?
Yeah.
Where are we at?
Can I get a 411 on the lasers?
Yeah, exactly.
I would be that guy, just derail every conversation. Like, why do we keep letting him back in?
That's so funny. Oh man. But there are people like that. There's this one guy, Jean-René Dufort. I don't know if whoever watches French TV. He has a show on TV. It's called The Infoman. I don't know if you guys see it.
Dude, I know. That guy's funny.
He is the funniest, man.
Yeah, I love that guy.
He is super intelligent. Super intelligent.
He has the glasses and the long hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that guy.
And he's like this, he brings like a lot of humor and
a lot of satire.
Oh my goodness, man. And obviously everyone knows him now, right? So when they see him in the crowd, they know that something's up and that they're going to get cornered. And, but in the beginning, they were like, what the fuck? Who is this guy? But now, since everyone knows him, but yeah, he asks stupid questions like that, but he finds a way to make them actually smart, because he's going to find something that's happening currently. And he's gonna ask them, and it's so freaking funny, man. This guy, I remember in the very beginning when the Legault government got elected, he named Simon Jolin Barrette, that young minister there. He gave him pretty much all the fucking responsibilities,
Okay, how old is the young guy? Because now I'm confused.
And he's in his early 30s, somewhere there.
Okay, so young guy, early 30s, kids 20. All right, I'm trying to your barometer.
On the political spectrum,
infant, 15 years old.
It's rare to see like a young 30-year-old having all these responsibilities. He's the leader. He's the parliamentary leader. He was the minister of justice. He had given him the responsibility of the French language. Like he had pretty much all the heavy files, right?
Okay.
So there's this huge event happening up in Quebec City. You have all these big personalities there, a lot of media, and this guy, he had broken his leg, so he was wearing a cast, and it had happened a week or two after. There was this little, not a fight, but Legault had to kind of put him back into his place because he came out and he said some shit, So you have Jean-René Dufort there, his shows up, and he sees him, and he's like, oh, there's the minister. Let's wait to talk to him. And then you see on the bottom of the screen, there's a clock going, right?
Yeah.
10 minutes, 15 minutes. So that kid sees him that he's there, but he's avoiding him. He doesn't want to go next to him. But that guy, he's fucking standing there just waiting to talk to him with his microphone, info man. And then you see the clock going, right? 10, 15, 20. And then at some point he gets to talk to him. And the first question he asks him, he's like, shit, we heard Legault put you back in your place, but it looks like it was way worse than we thought.
Yeah.
He's walking with crutches, you know? The guy's waiting 40 minutes just to ask like that stupid question. But it's just hilarious.
Yeah, I like that. I really like Info Man. I like him a lot. I should send him an invite for the French cast, see if he's down.
I think he was on. He did
Suzukud.
Yeah, Suzukud. That's it. Yeah.
But for Mike, it's different. Mike has the biggest show in Quebec.
Sure. They know each other. I mean, they're all comics there, but it's a huge show. It's a huge show.
I actually have both English and French. Next week's going to be a big week. We have a big guest coming in, like big fun guest. It's going to be fun next week. Yeah. I have a lot of cool stuff. A lot of controversy too. Yeah.
Cool. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be good next week.
Let's talk a little bit about COVID, because on Wednesday when we spoke about it, remember I told you that we're expecting on Wednesday we were expecting a press conference to see exactly what was going to happen, because suddenly we were in, the red flags were up, even though only 24 hours prior to that the health director said there's nothing to worry about, everything is under control, Montreal is managing well the variant cases, let's not panic, blah blah blah. So Wednesday evening Legault comes out and he just fucking goes bananas.
Quebec, Lévis, and Gatineau lockdown.
Quebec, Lévis, Gatineau on lockdown. Only non-essential businesses are closed. Curfew rolled back to 8 p.m. So schools also, I think, are going to be closed until April 12th. Obviously, for now, this doesn't affect the Greater Montreal region, but he is willing to act quickly if things do get ugly. So our Quebec Health Director, Dr. Arruda, and this is this is what's frustrating, man. This is where it's all improvisation, in my opinion. I mean, like we said, 48 hours before, the guy was just saying that we don't need strict restrictions; they're not required. Even though the cases had doubled within days in Quebec and fucking the Outaouais region. Anyways, now the officials are looking at Montreal. They're thinking that maybe this weekend is going to be very crucial. They're waiting to see exactly how things are going to unfold, because it is the Catholic Easter. People may be going to each other's houses. I don't know, man. I'm a little bit afraid. We're going to see what happens the next couple of days, like early next week. I really hope people control themselves this weekend, because I don't want another lockdown.
What do you mean control themselves? You think we're getting to a point where it's going to be Legault versus the Holy Spirit? Is that the fight you want, George?
It's Easter, God damn it! No, but I mean, look, I have a cousin that lives out in Bedford, right? So I've baptized 2 of his kids, actually, because he has 5. The fucking guy. Anyway,
well, there's not much to do in Bedford, though.
Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing to. There's nothing to do. So. And his wife is French Canadian. I mean, they're celebrating their Easter this weekend. So with my wife, we're gonna drop by. We're gonna drive by, give the candies, chocolates, and all that stuff to the kids.
Spread COVID.
And I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, we're not staying, right? I mean, we're dropping the shit off and we're leaving. She's like, whatever. If the kids want to play outside, it's fine. I'm like, and it's people, and I'm not blaming my wife for anything, because I mean, you're outdoors.
But it's people like her that are ruining this country. You could say
people like my wife, But yeah, so I mean, we're thinking, okay, worst case scenario, they're gonna go play a little bit, run around, and then we'll leave. And maybe it's okay, maybe it's not. But there are people that are like, okay, we're coming over, Easter dinner, Sunday, Monday, the whole weekend. Like, there's people that really think, fuck the rules. Let's enjoy ourselves. Let's have Easter dinner. So I don't know, man. I don't know. And we saw how easily this the variant cases can expand and. Sorry, there was So and we saw the case. Yeah, there was something here in my fucking glass. It was floating. We saw the case in the gym there in Quebec that the health authorities had to literally come and close down because the fucker was like an anti-vaxxer and all this conspiracy theorist kind of guy.
But what does him being an anti-vaxxer have to do with anything? Was he there taking away the vaccine from people?
No, but it's just a mentality where it's like, don't worry about it, blah blah blah. The guy opens his fucking gym. There's like 30 people that got infected, and those 30 now, I guess that I was hearing it. It's caused 170 or 150 infections in Quebec related to that gym. So it's like, fuck, man.
Those are all very popular people.
Yeah, it just goes to show you, man, how easily this thing get transmitted. And
How
I don't
much
know,
of that is
man.
accurate? Like, cause I always find it funny where they go, we can't trace this, we can't. But whenever they want a headline in 14 minutes, like we've traced it to 360 people. Really, really? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's I mean, and it's Quebec City, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're not talking about a huge city
All
over here.
360 people.
People, yeah, yeah. In Quebec City, all 360 of you went to that gym. No,
72% of the population was affected by that gym.
no, but I mean, and look what's happening in Ontario, for example. I mean, the Premier Ford over there, he announced a whole province-wide shutdown for an entire month. Things
Yeah,
are out of control.
I heard that there he lost complete control. I heard that they let them out a bit, and then people started blowing each other, licking handrails.
We spoke about this last week or 2 weeks ago, where things were really off the rails in Ontario, and we were afraid that maybe that trend was going to come into Quebec.
But this is what I can't understand is what happened in Ontario. Like what one day to the next, people just decided to start making out in the streets. Like what happened?
Well, look, in Ontario, they had much more relaxed measures, and they pretty much opened everything in Ontario. Restaurants were open, gyms were open. Like I mean, they pretty much went. I don't want to say back to normal, but uh, it was much better than it is over here, and it went to shit. Fuck, you know what I mean? So the guy, he's announcing a province-wide shutdown. And the interesting thing in Ontario, and I don't know how they're doing this, they're doing like simulations or models or whatever I don't know how they calculate these things, but the health experts like literally sounded the
The
alarm.
simulations. It's fucking Ford on his computer playing Civilization.
Yeah. So no,
I'm trying to convert this city.
No, he's playing Plague Inc.
Yeah.
did whatever calculations they did there. I'm not sure exactly how that works. And they sounded the alarm. They're like, listen, if we don't go into lockdown, they were projecting upwards of 6,000 cases by mid-April, which is huge, man. Like we're talking about in 2 weeks now.
6,000 cases. Huh?
So of course, look, and we spoke about this last episode. I mean, there's a big difference between cases and the hospitalizations. But considering the fact that the variant case is much more deadly, when you're coming out with a calculation that gives you a probability of 6,000 new cases within 2 weeks, the guy got scared, obviously, right? So the main problem right now in Ontario is that there's a very slow vaccine rollout. There's about 60% of the population that is over 70 years old that still hasn't received the first dose. So I don't know exactly why it's so slow over there. And maybe that's why there's a lot more concern on shutting down, because when you're looking at all these things happening and your most vulnerable population still hasn't been vaccinated, then maybe I understand the move to do that, right?
I was watching the Greek news. I saw that lady who took the vaccine, a 62-year-old, and then she went to the bus stop and dropped dead. And her kids are suing. I think they're suing. Who do you sue, though? I think they're trying to sue the hospital, but it's not the hospital's fault. If
I think they have to sue the company that made the vaccine.
they're going to sue Moderna. It didn't kill everyone else, though.
Yeah.
That's the hard thing about this, because you don't know.
Yeah, it's tricky. So what? She died? Maybe she died from the fall. Maybe she fainted, and as she fell, she hit her head somewhere, and she like it wasn't. It was
George is representing the hospital.
No, but it wasn't a vaccine that killed her. Maybe like there was some side effect where
I'm just saying she was apparent. I'm saying what the news said, that she dropped dead.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not laughing at it. I feel bad for the lady. The lady was young. She was in her 60s.
But what doesn't surprise me is the headline of the Greek news.
Yeah.
Greek woman drops dead at bus stop.
Yeah, that's what they said. And I was like, well, that's why you don't take the bus. But no, she had just taken the vaccine. They said, no, you're cool to walk. She's like, all right. So she went. She felt a little woozy, but whatever. She was sitting down and then just.
Yeah. That's sad, man. 60 years old?
62, I think.
She's young, man.
She's young. That's what I'm saying. But you don't. It's just like the virus. You don't know how your body's going to react to some of the shit.
Well, look at my mom. I told you she had heart palpitations, and my mom is a very healthy lady. She gets checked at least twice a year, and she has her heart checked.
Yeah, it's not about health. The healthiest person, the wrong thing hits you the wrong way, and
and we all got scared. I mean, like she was rushed to the hospital. She was getting all these tests done.
She only got the first dose, right?
Yeah, the first dose, and she was getting heart palpitations. They lasted for about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. 2.5 weeks.
So they say the second dose is worse, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
So how would that affect someone like that? Like, imagine she just had 2 weeks of hell. Like, imagine the second dose.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah. Whereas my dad, it's like nothing happened.
Yeah.
So
you don't know how it's gonna hit you.
Yeah.
What's next on the docket, bro? This COVID news.
We're gonna talk about.
I hate this.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the official languages because I've told you guys that I have a feeling that this year, as we're getting ready to move on to elections, there's a federal election, there's a municipal election at the end of the year, and next year we have a provincial election in Quebec. I have a feeling that the language issue is going to be front and center. If you guys remember last September, Justin Trudeau had prorogued the parliament and they started up again in September. There was just the speech from the throne from the governor general that got that had they kicked out at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And in that speech from the throne, the government basically declared, and this I'm going to quote this. It said, "The defense of the rights of francophones outside Quebec and the rights of the English minorities in Quebec will be a priority."
For who?
We knew for the government. So we knew off the bat that they were going to focus a lot on language. All right. So, and we've spoken about how the minister in charge of the French language, Mélanie Joly, she's working on tabling a bill soon on the official languages. Quebec is doing the same thing. Like there's this whole thing happening right now on the French language and the protection of the French language. And I get that. But there's a recent policy paper that started circulating. And in that policy paper, they're talking about proposals, or actually they're suggesting something completely different that is on the way. So what it seems to propose is that the government is going to present some policy that would provide rights to work and receive services in French, but not the equivalent in English. So obviously that has gotten the English community here in Quebec up at arms, because the problem with this is that, first of all, off the bat, it goes against the objective of the Official Languages Act, which guarantees a constitutional obligation for the government to ensure the respect of both French and English as official languages. So there doesn't seem to be any plan on defending the rights of English-speaking minorities here in Quebec, based on what people have read in this policy paper, and it's raised a lot of concern within the community. Basically, what is being proposed isn't just measures to protect the French language, which already exists, and obviously Quebec is trying to beef that up. What this is trying to do, it is actually considering to extending that law.
Grammarly helps.
Hold on a sec. I'm sorry about that. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing, Poseidon?
I'm trying to search something up.
All right. Well, don't play music while he's talking.
I muted it.
I can't hear anything.
I hear it.
Okay, so what they're actually considering now is to extend that law to become like a kind of like a language of work right, and that's horrible. It poses a huge problem, especially when it comes to the mobility of workers in and out of Quebec.
Listen, George. We're done with your mobility of workers and your immobile workers, because Poseidon, I don't know if you can see his face right now, he looks confused. And Poseidon, what is happening? You're making it seem like the world is ending. What's going on? What is this? UFO sighting in Montreal at Dorval Airport. What?
Hold on.
What?
I'm gonna put it for the people.
When did this happen? This is clearly an April Fool's joke, Poseidon.
No, this was 2 days ago.
Yeah, this is clearly an April Fool's joke, Poseidon.
Are you sure?
I would imagine it's an April Fool's joke.
You never know, bro. They're out there.
How about you do some fucking research?
That's what I'm doing. But I found the video also.
All right, let's see this. Let's see the
Okay,
video.
put it
Let's
back
see
up.
the video. We gotta show. Are you showing George? We gotta show G Funk.
Yeah, I'm gonna show the G funk.
Make it big screen so we can see this bullshit.
I think I've seen this before.
Yeah, this looks fake as dicks, bro. Yeah, that's
It's
how.
always
Yeah, that's how videos work. Yeah. This guy said, "Holy shit, there's a UFO. Let me pull out my cell phone from fucking 1998 and videotape it." Yeah. Okay. This is so, bro. If you fall for this, Poseidon, this is why you interrupt our morning news. This is why. Why would you do this? Who led you to this tip?
I like alien stuff.
But who led you to this fucking tip? Why would you go there randomly like that? This is crazy, bro. This is absurd. Whoever influenced you, Poseidon, block him. This is stupid.
Nobody influenced me.
All right. So you out of the blue, you just decided, let me look up UFOs in
No,
Montreal.
somebody influenced me. I just found it. I find it entertaining. I'm sorry that I interrupted.
You
the
derailed the whole show for nonsense.
God damn it, Poseidon.
All right, G, carry on.
Yeah. So just to recap, there seems to be these propositions that are coming down the pipeline that are suggesting to put French as a language of work right. which is
All over
serious.
Canada.
No, no. Well, this will only concern Quebec because nobody else speaks French across Canada, right?
Okay, but
So,
in Quebec, it is a right if you work somewhere that you could work in French.
no. In Quebec, you're allowed to be served in both official languages, especially when it comes to government institutions.
Right.
But this basically would mean that in the workplace, you have to speak French. You understand?
Oh, you have to speak French in the workplace.
Well, this is what they're suggesting. They're moving towards that, imposing a language of work right kind of thing, right? So there's a huge problem. And this I brought this topic up especially because last episode you were mentioning your friend that lives out in the West Island where they live completely in another world where nobody speaks French. They can't even come to work downtown or whatever. And this is going to make things way harder for them. I mean, and like again, right before Poseidon interrupted us, I was talking about the mobility of workers. How do you bring someone from Ontario or from any other province to work in Quebec, for example, when this sort of policy is imposed in the workplace? It won't work. It can't work, right?
Yeah, no, that's a terrible. That forcing people I always found that crazy.
And the biggest thing, forget about the mobility of workers. How are we going to take care of our English-speaking minority over here? I mean, in terms of their employment. I mean, and this is the thing. How are we going to guarantee their rights? Because they're allowed to be speaking English technically. So if you're going to impose this in the workplace where you're going to have to be speaking French, what kind of jobs are these guys going to have?
Yeah, I don't know. This seems like it just wasn't well thought out. It seems like the intention was there, but they didn't think this through.
From what I'm reading, it's an official policy paper. Hold on, let me get the.
But I don't think it was thought through. Like I think these are people who make this legislation are people who, let's say, work at the National Assembly or they work in an office, and it's just them working on this, speaking French to each other every day. They're not in let's say a digital industry where they're making video games, and you can have a great coder from Venezuela or a guy from Vancouver, and they're trying to meet in the middle, but they're making a great product. You know, they don't have that collaboration. It's all the same people. So to them, it's like, yeah, this isn't hard. We do it all the time.
Yeah,
because that's how they work.
It's an official government policy paper. It's called English and French Towards a Substantive Equality of Official Languages in Canada. I'm not sure how equal this is, to be honest with you, but. And again, this could very well be just one of those test balloons, right? Let's say, oh, let's release this out in the public and see what kind of reactions we get, and then come back to the drawing board if we need to. And it's something that happens quite often, actually, in politics. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on, or.
I'm saying it doesn't. It's written. Yeah. It's written. I'm telling you, it's just that's what happens. Is you lose sight. You get into this bubble. And the people that wrote it thought it's easy because they do it every day. They don't understand that sometimes, like me, especially when I was working like app development, all that, sometimes you outsource, sometimes you get people that move here and they're learning French and they barely even speak English too. They're just very good at their job, you know? So you want them around. They're good at their job and they try with, and you're going to speak to them in whatever works, you know? So they lose sight of that. To them, it's fucking simple. Just talk. Nah, it's not that simple. I understand that it shouldn't be. I understand that if you're working public facing, you should speak both languages. I agree with that. So if somebody comes English or French, you should be able to accommodate them. I'm 100% for that. But not to force something in meetings. It's fucking weird because you don't know what. Like, what if you have a meeting and you're talking to one of your American clients at work?
Yeah.
You're going to tell the American, just learn French so I could. No, dickhead, I'm paying you. I'm the customer. Like, there's too many what ifs in there that they didn't think about because they thought about their workplace at the government.
Yeah, and it's surprising to me because when we're talking about policy papers, this doesn't come from the minister or political staff, right? This usually comes from the machine, like public servants that are actually good at this thing, right?
Like right now, we're at our workplace, me and Poseidon.
Yeah.
But this is not one of our French shows. This is one of our English shows. But we are not adhering to speaking French right now, so this would be problematic. That's why I'm saying it's stupid. Because right now we're not doing. When we did a French show yesterday, we're doing another French show in a couple of days. We're going to be speaking French, so that's what I mean by it was written by people who didn't think that there's different workplaces outside of their own.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're going to have to go back to the drawing board. I'm very curious to see what both governments come up with. Honestly, it's a huge issue. Language has always been a huge issue in Canada, especially in Quebec. And the fact that you have two governments working on something, I'm curious to see where and if at all they will intersect somewhere, if they're going to have common policies or common ideas, or if it's just going to become the government's position versus Quebec's position on language, and it's going to create this huge fucking debate that is going to lead us into this
War.
It's not going to be a war, but I mean, it's, I'm just not in the mood of heading into that direction, especially in a year where we should be focusing on pretty much restarting our economy and getting things back to normal. We're going to spend it fucking fighting with the federal government on what we have to do with the languages,
Speaking of getting it back to normal, since the government here is going back into lockdowns, there's still a curfew, are there any new programs being discussed for businesses to get some money? Because if they keep I don't understand how they expect people to pay their taxes, to pay rent, food, if they keep stopping them from making money.
I read actually that in these regions now where they put a full lockdown, Quebec, Lévis, and Gatineau, apparently they're figuring out a formula to pay restaurateurs and other businesses that are going to have to shut down.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what's going to come up there, but often I think of being on that side and having to figure out this puzzle, and it shouldn't be easy, honestly. Can you imagine governing during this pandemic, having to figure out all these different puzzles and who deserves what and who should close and who should stay open, and the ones that close, how do we protect them? And I'm sure it's not easy. I don't know, man. It's been a terrible year, and I have a feeling that the next year is going to be even harder. Perhaps not because we're dealing with a pandemic, but on an economic perspective,
yeah,
I'm not so sure how easy it's going to be the next year.
Yeah, I've been speaking to some comedians in the past couple of days, French and English, and they were asking for help, maybe starting up a podcast or something, because they were saying the same thing. They go, dude, it is rough out there because they can't do shows, to make money. Yeah. Same thing with us. Like we were looking at the numbers the the amount of money we lost last year. Like, geez, if the company had debt, because we didn't have any debt going into last year. If we had debt, I don't think we would have survived last year.
Yeah.
But luckily, we didn't owe anybody any money, so we kind of coasted through, But it was I don't know how people.
But you were also somewhat lucky that you had this platform way before you had taken the time and you had built it to the point where, you could have taken that extra step to focus a lot more energy and make it even better. The people that didn't and that are thinking, okay, let me get started now, they're at a huge disadvantage. Which sucks. I don't know, man. I think a lot about these people. We have a lot of friends in the restaurant business. Obviously, you guys, you're in comedy. You depend so much on shows and stuff like that, and God knows what's going to happen. And now, we're seeing more and more just businesses in general moving online. I don't know how that's going to affect your industry.
For live shows, it affects it directly. For live shows, if we can't do a live show, that's it. We can't do a live show. Zoom is never going to replace it. If right now, instead of doing podcasts, I was offering Zoom shows, we wouldn't make any money. They're not fun. It's just a Zoom show of me doing stand-up. Luckily, we doubled down. We had nothing else. We said, let's just try this. So we turned it into a network, and we have more shows. We're talking more, and we're not even close to done. We're still doing a lot of upgrades. We still have a lot of talks with people that want to be on the network, like other comics, just to put them on, do shows with them. I was waiting for just for the curfew to be over. There's a show here we're waiting to start it, but I'm waiting for the curfew to be over because so that Poseidon and his other hosts can be here at night to do that show. So there's a lot of stuff that we're working on, but the reason why we doubled down on that is because we knew that live shows were going to be risky for a while, and to give people a reason to sign up and go on Patreon and all that shit and watch. We're not going to get lazy and just do stand-up. Just pay $5 and watch me do stand-up on Zoom. It's going to suck. So that's what we did because we had no other choice. We said either we get lazy or we double down.
What if there's some other formula, man? Instead of just having a boring Zoom thing where you're behind a desk and doing comedy, if you can design it as if
no. There's no other formula. I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm telling you, there's no other formula that replaces a live. No. Yeah. For any comic that replaces, it is not stand-up. Poseidon's not a comedian, and he knows it too. A live venue where you feel the people, where you're there. That's what stand-up comedy is. Anything else is just me talking in a microphone. So I'd rather spend that time digitally having a product of substance and quality which are the different podcasts that we do. Because me faking it to people, no, I'm not doing that shit. I'm going to double down on podcasting. And then once things I'm allowed to, I'm coming to your city and I'm doing a show. That's it.
At least you're staying active, man. At least your face is out there, and people don't really forget you. You know what I mean? It's
fucking 10 shows a week. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to forget.
Yeah. No, but imagine other comedians that don't have these platforms. It's like who? Pantelis who?
Yeah. I know. It's well, we've helped a lot of people start up their Patreon and their podcast this year. Well, since last year now, it's been a whole year. Because of that, because they were asking, what should I do? Should I start a Patreon? Should I start a podcast? I was like, yeah, that's the only way to go. And I'm happy that I did so, because now a lot of people are able to get some money instead of just being stuck.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I think a lot about these things. And again, we were very lucky because, our industry kind of survived. So we were fine. But God, man, you know how many friends I have? Like, I feel really bad for certain people, especially the restaurateurs. And God knows we know a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
Fuck, man. I don't know. Honestly, I hate to even think about it. Having to wake up every morning and wonder what's going to happen today. I don't know. It's whatever. We're not gonna fall into depression here. Let's move on, guys. Something I found interesting. And I'll tell you why I found it interesting, because, again, I think there's federal elections coming, and I'm curious to see how this situation will evolve. So we spoke about last episode Heritage Minister Stephen Guilbeault, because I think you were talking about what were we talking about last episode? Netflix or whatever it was. The CRTC.
Oh, yeah. Them controlling what we say and shit, yeah.
So he came out and he announced the other day that his department, his cabinet, like his Ministry of Heritage, they will be cutting all publicities to all major digital platforms like, Google, Facebook, and all that kind of stuff. Now, the backstory to this is that we know that the federal government is working currently on legislation on regulating these platforms and having some sort of taxation for these platforms to contribute directly, especially to the newspapers and to that whole industry. Because they share all the news, and the newspapers get nothing out of it. So they're working on something like that. We mentioned a couple weeks ago what had happened in Australia and how they managed to block completely Facebook and Google from the entire country, and then finally they came to an agreement. So something similar is happening here in Canada. So I have a feeling that this decision has something to do with that. They want to have kind of like a rapport de force there. They want to have kind of like the edge on the negotiations. We just for anyone that is curious, last year alone there was over 55% of nearly $45 million that the federal government spent on advertising that went to digital platforms. So it's a lot of money. But again, I just think that this just comes at a time when all these things are being planned right now, and negotiations are being held, and all these big players want to establish some sort of control over the market. The question that I have is how does a government that whose main goal is basically to reach out to the public block itself out from using platforms that actually have the monopoly on the eyeballs, right, and all the control on the people. So I just think that we're at this stage right now where these platforms are pretty much inevitable. You need them today more than ever, especially if you want to reach out to your public and to the audience. And the reason that I'm very curious is that if there's elections coming on soon, like maybe before the summer or maybe even after the summer, I'm curious to see how the government and all these parties are going to be investing money in advertising on Facebook and Google and Instagram and on all these platforms that everyone is using, basically, right? So I'm just curious to see. And whenever the election happens, I'm going to bring this back up to see how much money is being spent on these platforms based on what they're talking about now to cut the funding. So there's a little, I just see some hypocrisy coming in the future. So I'm just gonna keep my eye on it, because it's almost impossible to do anything right now without these platforms. So coming out and stating that we're gonna cut publicities by half, I'm not so sure exactly what point you're trying to prove. Like, it's going to disadvantage you.
But disadvantage who, though?
The government.
The government doesn't care Who's going to forget that the government exists?
Well, look, if you're in the government now and you want to get your message through.
Yeah, they already do.
Sorry?
They already get their message through.
I don't know. It could be, I mean, they already use these platforms, right? I mean, the other day I was on Twitter and I saw this announcement from the government of Canada. So they do use these platforms. They know that everyone is on them. People don't watch news anymore. I mean, that's why I'm here telling you what's happening.
That's funny.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody even watches TV anymore.
Yeah, TV's dead too. Yeah.
So it's funny to me that you're taking this direction as if you're going to punish these guys. Meanwhile, these guys know that you need us, man. Fucking bozo. Why don't we sit down, figure out a way, just like they did in Australia? And again, we don't know what the legislation is going to be, right? I mean, we're all expecting to see what they're going to come up with, or, how they're going to tax these companies. I have no idea. And if these companies are even going to accept it, I don't know. But I just find it a tad hypocritical because, and again, I'm just curious to see what's going to happen in the elections. You're going to see all these guys on their social media platforms promoting themselves and whatever. They're going to be spending loads of money on Instagram and Facebook ads and all this stuff. So this for me is like, what are you doing? Like, what are you announcing exactly here? Like, I don't know. I just don't understand the move. That's all. Like, where else are you going to put the money? And is it going to have the desired effect that you want it to have?
I mean, we have learned that government has another strategy, right? When they want to get a message out, sometimes they don't just need to promote their message. All they need to do is block someone else from giving the counter message. And it's the same effect. And both governments in North America have been doing that recently. And it has been working for the most part. Because if you don't hear the other side of the story, then there is no other side of the story. So they can also just use that. They can be like, well, why would I put money? Legally, stop that guy from saying that.
It's true what you're saying because we saw what's happening we saw what happened with Donald Trump where he got banned from Twitter.
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah, that was different. That was that's an extreme case. That's an extreme case.
It's an extreme case, but imagine like automatically you remove an
opposing voice. Yeah, it's crazy
to communicate with the public. Like this guy would fucking send off I don't know how many tweets a day, and he would really have an impact on his supporters, right? I mean, everybody was just looking for, okay, what is Trump going to say? Let's take a look at his like this guy controlled masses through Twitter. And the fact that that's gone now, you barely hear about Trump. Of course, maybe you wouldn't anyway because he's no longer in power, but who knows?
He's starting his own platform, I heard.
Is he? Like what kind? Like a social media platform or like a media, like a TV?
I heard social media, but I feel like I understand that he's like, I'll have a social media platform where everybody can speak, but I feel like that's a waste of time and money. If you have that kind of money and the resources, I would start more of a digital media, like a channel or something. I feel like it's just a petty waste of time to do a social media channel.
Also, I don't remember where I saw this exactly, but I think it was from QAnon. I love your reaction.
I just love how he paused before he said it. Look, I read something. It was from QAnon.
Yeah. Like, oh God. Oh shit.
It's a theory.
Oh really? Is that what we're calling it now? Okay.
Apparently they found a loophole.
They found a loophole. Yeah.
They found a loophole, and
was it a fish koala hybrid lawyer that did this?
Trump should be president by August.
Come on, man. Guys, you know what's frustrating?
For the record, I don't believe this. It's entertaining.
Oh, but of course it's entertaining to us. But there are actual people that fucking believe this stuff, and they give into this shit. They're like, "Yeah, Trump back in the house in August. Let's go." How stupid are people, man?
Though it would be the funniest thing to ever happen on the planet. If I would see that happen, I will tell you right now, Poseidon, I will laugh for days.
Do you think he would make an entry like wrestling?
It would be, you know how embarrassing that is for you to be president for like 6, 7, 8 months. Let's say if it's in August, and then you just get kicked out. They're like, actually, and then the other guy comes back in. And you know how embarrassing that is. It's ludicrous to think that could happen. And if it does happen, which I don't think it will, that's absurd. I think it will be the funniest moment on the planet ever.
Oh yeah, it would be epic. I think all the aliens would be like, you know that Joe Rogan meme and the commentators on UFC.
Yeah, all the aliens.
I'm like, whoa!
Could you imagine that though? I'd freak out. It would be so funny if he does come in like that, like Biden's giving like his exit speech or whatever, and then all you hear is like rest. I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every. And then bam, 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 bam. And him and Pence are high fiving. They're fucking suplexing people through tables like.
The fly makes a comeback on Pence's head.
It would just be insane. Everybody would be like, "Yeah, the world is over. This is not. How is this real life? How is this really happening right now?"
What do you think they're wearing? You think they're wearing just a Speedo? You think they're wearing the
No, they have to wear their suits. He has to have the red tie. They have to be, but they have to be doing a lot of the guns. They have to be showing.
They're not wearing the spandex stuff.
The best
They're wearing
president is back. You couldn't handle the job. You couldn't do the job, Joe. You're senile. You're senile. Kamala, what is that even? You know, it'd just be crazy.
Kamala, filthy.
Yeah, exactly. I would be glued. I would be glued to the screen.
Oh, I would
see
pay
Trump.
so
I can
much
see
money.
Trump walking in with the rubber boots, or the high boots, all the way to the knee, and then having the spandex, like the army spandex with a single strap.
Yeah, he would look like Dusty Rhodes, just dropping elbows. Well, I don't know. Poseidon, I really don't think that's in the cards for reality.
No, obviously
But I
not.
will say that if it would change everything. If that would happen, you can't take anything serious anymore. Like, that would be the biggest M. Night Shyamalan twist ever.
Yeah, I think I would actually faint from not excitement.
Surprise. Shock, yeah.
Shock.
It would make The Sixth Sense look like a fucking child's high school project.
Surprise, bitches!
Well, you know how funny that would be? Like, I'll tell you, as crazy as it sounds, that's something I would enjoy watching. That's like,
yeah.
You know, everything is you're like, oh, 2020 was crazy. 2021, well, nothing will ever top 2021.
And you know he's gonna have that walk when he comes in and that smirk on his face.
Yeah. I told you I'd be back, bitches. First order of business, Jack Dorsey. You ban me. You're banned. Go to Guatemala. Like, just crazy shit, bro.
Filthy.
Yeah.
He keeps calling everyone filthy.
Filthy. Oh, I would fucking love that. God damn, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
What did he say that for? It was during a debate where he spoke about like India.
No, he goes, look at India, filthy. Look at China,
They're
filthy. And he does the hand motion.
Yeah. But you know what's funny is he said that, people are like, I can't believe he said that. And then you look at pictures, you're like, well. Like, because when he said that, I remember when they were showing images, they said filthy. And it's like, that's offensive. And then it's showing a video of slums. It's like, well. It's funny. He has his moments, the cocksucker. I wonder if he's willing to do podcasts.
Oh my God.
I don't know if I could reach out to him.
That would be gold.
But you know what sucks about him? He's the kind of guest that even if you get him on your show, he would be the best live, not through Skype.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy that I would pay money to fly to Montreal to have him.
Yeah.
Like,
or if he had his own podcast.
yeah, if he had his own podcast, like it wouldn't work well on Skype. You need him in person to feed off and to fuck around with.
The Trump cast.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Oh my God.
Podcast.
And he's just there. Every podcast, he has like a list of people. Trump's shit list today. Who do we got? You know? Mark Zuckerberg. Fuck that robot. He's just going down the list. And he's just watching like, this is amazing. That guy was president. This is amazing.
I would watch that podcast
Yeah, of course.
every time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't miss that podcast.
There was
God damn.
what's it called? They had questioned Biden. I can't remember for what, and they were saying, Donald Trump. I think it was with the whole issue happening now at the borders with Mexico. Things aren't really better.
They're a little worse. They're a little worse apparently, which is, I mean, but that every couple of years that goes. I don't blame a specific president for that. That's fucked up.
So he's walking, I think, to get on his plane or whatever, and one of the journalists asks him, President Biden, what do you think of President Trump, announcing that he's going to visit the the border, And then he came up with some political line. He's like, well, we're doing our very best, blah blah blah, and I don't care what the other guy's doing. And he just left. He doesn't even acknowledge him anymore. It's the other guy.
The other
I don't
guy.
know what the other guy's
But
doing.
you know what's funny is we're doing our very best, but you were talking shit for 4 years, and your very best seems to be worse than what you were saying their worst is. I don't give a shit about the other guy. They leave. Yeah, they don't care about the border. You saw they have these kids. Even AOC talks shit. The AOC came out and even she said, like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, this is worse than it was with fucking Trump. What's going on?
Yeah.
The only difference is that the media is not covering it now. That's the only
There
difference.
you go.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't give a shit about these politicians. I told you guys from the beginning. Don't fall for a politician. They don't give a fuck.
Anyway, let's move on because there's some action happening over at the English Montreal School Board.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, if you guys remember last week, I told you that basically the government announced. I think they started early on Monday. This week they started. All the schools were back. They opened full time from Sec 3, 4, 5. The kids weren't half and half. Everyone is back to school. So the EMSB came out and said, well, okay, we see what you're saying, and we're going to raise you to fuck off. so
What?
They came out and said that they will not follow the recommendations from the government, and 6 of its largest schools will continue to work as they've done. They're going to they're going to be implementing, or they're thinking of implementing, their own hybrid system, especially for Sec 4 and 5s. Maybe the 3s, they will allow them to come back, but 4, 5s, they will come up with their own hybrid system all the way until the end of the year. So the Minister of Education, I forget what his first name is, Minister Robert, he came out and he's like, well, okay. So he sent them a letter, and he ordered them essentially to just resume full time like the rest of the schools. Like, listen, whether you like it or not, this is what you need to be doing. The MSB basically is claiming that they should technically have the flexibility to decide what's safest for the students, for the teachers and all the school staff, and that the government officials aren't there on a daily basis to see exactly what the reality is, and they don't know better than the actual school's administration. So there's much concern, especially from the health experts. We've been talking about this several episodes now, that the health experts are actually worried that the government is taking the wrong decision on opening up the schools again. So the MSB is pretty much taking their side on this, and they're like, look, these are the experts. The government isn't listening to them. We will listen to them. We're going to proceed our own way. And in addition, I mean, their argument is that it's very difficult to maintain a school bubble, especially with those grades, because of the many class options that they have. The students need to move around and to mix with other students, depending on what classes they're in. So it's very difficult it's very dangerous to be doing that. And at the same time, they're also claiming that, look, we had a whole year to kind of readapt and to redo all of our scheduling and to update all our timetables so that we can finish the school year based on the previous hybrid model. And now the government is suggesting that for the few months that are left in the school system, that we bring everyone back into school and change up all this model that we had gotten used to. For them, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know what's going to happen. This is happening now. Like the last couple of days, they came out and said, fuck that shit. We haven't opened our schools and we won't.
Fuck that shit, I'm out. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, so they will be convening during this weekend to see exactly what they're going to be doing. I'm curious to see, come next Monday or Tuesday, because Monday's off, what's going to happen with those schools, and if they're going to go along with the government's recommendation, or if they're going to stick to the guns and say, look, say whatever you want, do whatever you want, but our schools will remain this way.
The one thing we learned, though, in this whole pandemic is how useless governments are. Like all across the world, it's not like one's better than the other. They're all just scrambling. No. What is he doing? Should I do that? We realize now, finally, guys realize they're just human beings, like you, like me, just that they lie a lot more sometimes, and they try to fuck you.
It's funny because this is the first time we spoke about this early on last year when the pandemic started, where pretty much every country right now, and you can even take it at a macro level, where like even every province or every state depending, everyone is on their own. Everyone doesn't give a shit. What Canada? No. Fuck the rest of Canada. We're taking care of Quebec. And even within Quebec, we don't know what we're doing. I don't know, man. It's one big mess. The government doesn't seem to have any stability in their message. From one day to the next, the policy can change. Look what happened now with those regions that they closed. 24 hours before they closed the regions, Quebec's health director was saying, no, there's nothing to worry about. Don't worry about it. Everything is under control. Like 24 hours, dude. Come on, man.
Look at your reactions. The best. 24 hours, bro.
No, but like if it was like a week before, I'd say okay, things could happen in a week.
Yeah.
But in 24 hours, how much changed, dude? Come on, or whatever, 48 hours, whatever it was. So I don't know.
I have a proposition.
Is it an indecent proposal?
No. We open up all the schools.
All right.
Fuck the pandemic.
I'm too cool for school, though.
And at the same time, what ends up happening, those losers with a fucking peanut allergy will be cleansed. The gene pool of society will become stronger. Since it becomes stronger, we build an immunity to the virus. Bam. Problem solved.
Coming to you straight from the science of Adolf Pigler over there.
What the fuck was that, dude? Poseidon, man.
It's a joke. Calm down, George.
Listen, the inferior ones
I
would kill him.
I don't care about it being a joke. I'm just thinking, how does that idea even come to your mind? Like, how do you come up with shit like this?
It's not hard. It takes an extra chromosome.
It's a joke, bro. Calm down.
Look. This is how it starts. It starts with a young man that falls in love with his sister, and then has a baby. And then that baby will come up with all kinds of great ideas.
Oh God.
Adolf Pigler.
But
Bringing
just-
it to you straight.
But just the losers with peanut allergies. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Though if you are allergic to peanuts, you are the problem.
Thank you. Bro, I couldn't have peanut butter jelly sandwiches in school because of those assholes.
Yeah. As if you were going to share food. That was the fear. I'm sure some teachers were like, really, guys? You think another kid's going to get his hands on his sandwich?
It's funny that you mentioned peanut butter, man, because I was actually having this discussion with my wife the other day. I never used to eat peanut butter. I don't think I really liked it that much. And we started buying it for the girls, and I can destroy the entire fucking jar by myself now.
I didn't eat peanut butter as a kid either because I was Greek, so it wasn't always.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
That's what it was. I didn't have a lot of like white people stuff, but I like peanut butter. I haven't had it in a while, but I like it.
Brown spread. No, we'll pass. We're not gonna have that in our house.
Yeah, we're gonna. This is disgusting. Give me the sheep intestines.
Yeah. We'll make a soup with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever made those peanut butter cookies from the craft? It gives you the guide on how to do them.
No.
Delicious.
I believe you.
Delicious.
I like peanut butter. I'm just saying, as a kid, it wasn't part of my like the routine. It wasn't part of my food pyramid, so it wasn't like I was missing out on anything. It was rare that I would eat peanut butter. Maybe if somebody would give me their lunch or some shit. I don't know. I don't know when the fuck I had peanut butter sandwich as a kid. I don't think I did.
My favorite snacks were Dunkaroos and Scooby snacks.
Scooby snacks.
Yeah.
What do you mean Scooby
Never
snacks?
had any of those stuff, man.
Scooby
Like
snacks
you're
is
right,
weed.
Pantelis, man. Our parents were staying away from the shit. We didn't have this kind of crap in my house, man.
In
Like, you
my
wanted
house, I
cookies,
didn't.
It was like kurabiye. That's what you had.
Yeah. In my house, I didn't either, just because my mom was unaware of that stuff. She's like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then after, I bought myself peanut butter. I like peanut butter. Mike had given me like a big jar of Jif. Fucking love that shit. Destroyed it. I like peanut butter.
That's good.
Yeah.
The only thing I really stopped, like as a kind of as a protest, is Nutella.
Yeah.
And anything that uses
What?
palm oil.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't buy.
You know what's weird is I used to love Nutella,
Mm.
but then after, I don't know. I think it's psychological.
Me, after the whole palm oil thing, I saw the videos of them with the monkeys crying and they were destroying the monkeys' homes and all that. I said, fuck that shit.
That when I saw that, I don't know if it's just me, but the taste to me wasn't the same anymore.
You
Like-
felt the tears and the blood of the monkeys.
Like it didn't
yeah.
taste good anymore. It's probably just psychological.
Well, obviously, it's purely psychological.
That's
So for me,
interesting,
since
though.
then, I said, nope, no thank you. There are different chocolate spreads. There are different hazelnut spreads that don't use that shit. I'm not, like, poison me, that's fine. All this shit's poison. But if you're going to go, for what reason? There are other alternatives. You can go kill these fucking, these apes and you're going to ruin their homes. Get the fuck out of here for fucking chocolate spread. Like, that's how shitty we are to this planet for fucking chocolate spread. It's not like, oh, we got to save the world. For fucking Nutella, you're going to destroy their homes and kill these fucking animals. Like, that's where we overdo
Yeah.
it. That's where I'm like, okay, that's fucked up.
And they don't even need to use that kind of oil. There's other oils that they could.
If you give me the choice to never eat chocolate anything again, or and they won't kill any fucking monkeys or apes, I would rather never fucking eat chocolate again if that was the case. So that's why Nutella didn't bother me to stop using that shit.
Yeah.
Fuck Nutella. There are other alternatives. You need fucking palm oil, you cocksuckers. All right, well.
Who is Mademoiselle Mew here saying that palm oil isn't only in Nutella, which is true.
It's not. I'm just saying what I stopped. I don't buy products that have palm oil, but I'm saying Nutella was the big one that I didn't know at the time.
Are you guys like those people that take the pack and read all the ingredients? Do you do that?
I do. If it's something new, if I know what it is, I'll buy it because I already read it. But if it's something new, I always read. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because sometimes there's shit like I said, palm oil. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Or if there's aspartame, like I avoid that shit. There's certain stuff that I avoid, or I just want to know. Mostly, I look for sugar because I want to know how much sugar there is in something. So I don't fuck myself. I don't get too fat. And that's. But I for a couple of years now, I've been reading the back. Yeah.
I'm sure Poseidon does the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was sarcastic.
It was. Yeah.
You.
Do you read the ingredients, or you just fucking put everything in your mouth?
He just puts everything in his mouth. Are you crazy? He's gonna read the ingredients.
Bro, I can barely read.
Can't even read. Yeah.
Ooh, Scooby snacks.
Yeah.
You sure that's not like a Phil was in the chat actually.
No,
He's
we
like,
had,
Isn't that dog food?
No, it's
Scooby
not.
snacks
It's
are
not.
dog food. Yeah.
No. In elementary, there was like the fruity.
Elementary, my dear Scooby.
The fruity gummies,
Gushers.
something like that.
Fruit roll-ups.
But they were packaged with Scooby-Doo packaging, and they called them Scooby snacks or something.
Yeah, those were for your dog. Your mom got you dog
No,
treats.
they weren't. They were. It was candy. It was like candy.
Yeah, for dogs.
No, it wasn't. Dogs don't eat candy.
Are you crazy? There's dog candy. I give my dog treats all the time.
Yeah, but it's made out of like other stuff.
What does that mean? What did you just say? What did you think you were saying with that sentence? What did you think that sentence meant to human beings?
There's other stuff, man. There's stuff, and then they put other stuff.
Yeah, people are asking, do you mean Dunkaroos?
No, Dunkaroos. But we had, bro. Let me find them.
By the way, I want you all to know he's saying this while he's eating pedigree. Part of his balanced breakfast.
Oh God, guys, let's get on to another topic because I think it's gonna.
I found it.
What did you find?
Scooby snacks.
He's so stupid. You'd realize that everyone's busting your balls, right?
I know.
He got so angry. Look, I found it. These are candies that I was given.
Here, this is what I ate.
Yeah.
I just wanna see a little bit how you feel about this, because it's been it stirred up a huge debate. The Quebec Health Institute is just came out yesterday or before yesterday, and they announced that they are looking very favorably at the option of having a vaccination passport. So I'll explain to you a little bit what this is for people that don't know, and I just want to get your opinion on this. Basically, they believe that it can be justifiable to enforce this in order to allow certain activities to start again. They are, however, worried that we still don't have all the information on the variants. So they're kind of on the fence because of that. But in essence, they believe that having that passport could kind of bring more freedom for some to move around and to be more active, liberating them from the constraints linked to all the measures that have been imposed.
Bullshit. Hold on a second. How would it allow that if they've already said, and correct me if I am wrong or misunderstood, George, it happens. They said you get vaccinated, your life does not change. You wear the mask, social distance, curfew applies to you, the same rules as not getting vaccinated. So what the fuck would a passport to prove that you were vaccinated change?
For 2 weeks. But look, hold on, and we'll get to that because I want to have the debate with you guys. The health minister also, because don't forget, this isn't new. The health minister had stirred this huge debate back in February when he declared that, for him, it would be necessary to have some sort of digital passport proving that the people are vaccinated. Obviously, the opposition was quick to criticize, claiming that it raised serious concerns on ethics and discrimination and that sort of thing. Of course, we're asking what the federal government thinks about this, and Justin Trudeau, always unclear, like he is. He said that, well, we will always listen to what the experts recommend. So there's no indication on what's going to happen over at the federal government. But I also want to remind you that a couple weeks ago, the Council of Europe approved the proposal from Greece, actually, to accept digital passports, especially for travelers, so that we can allow this movement of people, and especially for the southern European countries that depend highly on tourism and travel. And it passed. So this is something that will be happening at some point now, soon, in Europe. I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't know. I agree with the fact that it is, to a certain extent, discrimination, because if, I don't know, there's a show that Pantelis is playing and I want to get in, and you have someone at the door asking me for a digital passport or a digital vaccination passport or whatever, it is a little discriminating, no? That you're not allowing certain people to come in just because they don't have the vaccination?
Yeah, mine isn't even about discrimination. It's just about our rights here. I find that crazy, because now you are forcing people to take something. There's a lot of things that I don't like that shit. I really don't like that. I don't like forcing people.
Well, that's the other thing that you're mentioning, because let's remind everyone that vaccination isn't mandatory. Nobody can force you to take the vaccination.
Here's where the bullshit starts, and imbeciles will use that as an excuse. You say that's how you put stuff on paper and force people to do things without making it law. So you could say vaccination is not mandatory, but then when you require a passport to live a free life and go to the store, go to whatever, it technically is mandatory. Yeah, I don't know how they trick so many people.
Yeah. So I mean, look, I'm on the fence too, but I mean, I can understand how they see the certain advantages. Like, if think about it, if you're a restaurant owner right now, and for the safety of your personnel and for the safety of everyone coming into the restaurant, you want to run your business. Aren't you gonna look into that and say, okay, look, if I'm allowed to open my store and accept people that have been vaccinated, then yeah, I mean, it's better than not opening my store, right?
Yeah. But that's how you force people.
I know, but I'm just taking a look at it from their perspective. You don't really care if the government is forcing anyone to vaccinate. I care for my business. I care for my livelihood. And if that's what it takes, then fuck it. Yeah, okay. If you're coming in, are you vaccinated? Good. Come in. Let my business function. If you don't, sorry, I can't take you in.
I don't know, man. We're going to start. If they're going to separate us again and we're going to start this shit,
I feel like by the end of this, we're going to lose all of our rights.
Yeah. It's a bit much, this.
Yeah, that's a scary thing. That's a scary thing. But I mean, I'm just looking at it from, the business and the economic perspective. I don't know. I mean.
And what about the people that can't get vaccinated?
I don't know.
Are there allergies? Yeah, there's people that are either allergic or they have, they're too old. There's different conditions. It's a, we're supposed to be inclusive. We're including everyone. There are going to be some people that just can't take it. So what about them?
Yeah, they're gonna have to wait until everything is back to normal, I guess. I don't know.
What about like Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yeah.
What about them? Right, religiously they don't take stuff. No,
they can't.
Okay, so what about them? So they're not allowed to shop anymore.
No, I understand, and that's the whole debate. I mean, and that's where the discrimination comes in into play. But I mean, look, there's different ways to see this. You're the government. You want your economy to be working again, right? I mean, you have that responsibility. And at the same time, you are a business owner that hasn't had real clientele in over a year. And they tell you that, well, look, there's this option on the table. Do you take it?
Me personally?
Like you're a restaurant owner. Would you look at this favorably or not?
No, I wouldn't.
But
I wouldn't. Like I understand. No, I wouldn't. They've been fucking with me long enough. No.
Like even if it meant the survival of your business.
I don't know that it means the survival of my business. I don't know that.
Sure, it does, because people are going to be allowed to come back in. You'll be allowed to open up again.
How do I know that the people that took the vaccine are the people that want to come to my store?
Well, yeah, you don't know that. You don't know that, but I mean, you look at big popular restaurants that whatever.
big chains will do that. McDonald's, isn't, but these guys have been sellouts for like years. Obviously, they'll do that. But I think there's going to be, I don't know. I just don't like the idea of forcing people. Like it seems weird to me.
You had sent me an interesting article last week.
Doesn't sound like me.
The inactivity.
Oh yeah.
Kills millions.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's 5.3 million people that die each year from inactivity. Okay, because it causes health problems. You know,
Like obesity and
stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's the inactivity that kills them, right?
Yeah.
COVID in the last year has killed 2.83 million globally.
Globally.
Yeah. If every life matters,
Yeah.
why aren't they talking about this?
I see what you're saying. I see where you're going with this. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, they did talk about obesity. Don't you remember they released those magazine photos of those obese women and said, "Stop the stigma. Obesity is healthy."
Yeah, I don't think that's what they should have done.
Many people don't think that's what they should have done. Yeah, but that's what they did.
But you know, so it's hypocritical a bit for them to say every life matters.
But Phil is angry with you because he's saying you can't catch fat because you can't spread it. Because he's saying you can't spread it, so it's not the same thing. Like you can't put measures in place for you to not spread being fat. Like you can't spread being fat.
No, that's not what I'm trying to say.
Like what are you gonna walk around giving people chocolate?
No. I might have just forced people. No, what I'm trying to say is if every life matters and they've locked everyone in their fucking homes and inactivity kills,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Shouldn't that be more important? If it kills already 5.3 million people,
I understand.
Already.
No, but for the record though, I like what you're saying. But your head is right up your ass because the issue is those 5 million people that are gonna die. It sucks they're gonna die, right?
No.
But they can't spread that and kill non-fat people.
I know.
I don't think you do.
No.
Because the difference with COVID is that it's not just you, right? The difference that you could give it to someone that doesn't want to get it and it'll kill them.
No.
You can't make someone that doesn't want to become fat. You know what I'm saying? You can't be like, because I'm fat, I'm going to put sugar in every meal you eat. You can't do that. That's the difference.
No, I know. No, I know.
And you don't need a passport to show people that you're fat.
It just shows.
they can see. All they need is functioning eyeballs.
Yeah, the argument for staying active, for example, with respect to this the digital vaccine passport is in the sense that, look, this also falls into the argument, right? It's like, look, you're home all day. Yes, there's a bunch of health issues related to the fact that you're not, moving anymore or you're not exercising or whatever. We all know that. Well, now with the digital passport, you'll be able to go and jog and be free to fucking do whatever the hell you want. I don't know, man. Honestly, I'm on the fence with this. Like I can see the advantages, but I mean, for all the advantages that there may be, there's only one disadvantage for me, and that's the whole discriminating. Like it only takes one for me to say like, well, I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I don't like the idea of a vaccine passport at all.
Yeah.
I don't like that shit at all, guys. I feel like that's us heading in the wrong direction. And also, I don't get what's going on. How are you going to get a vaccine passport if they're saying that they keep changing every day? So there's variants. So it doesn't matter if you got it. You get these shots. If you get these shots, we don't know how long it's going to last. But if there's a new variant, this shot's not going to protect you. So then what's the point? With the passport is going to prove nothing.
Point is to keep you enslaved.
Do you know what I mean? If it was a passport, you get the vaccine, everyone's safe. But that's not what they're saying.
Yeah.
So what would be the point? Because if you have the vaccine passport, you could still get the variant and then give it to someone. Like so, it doesn't.
No.
Well, they're saying now that the vaccine works against the variant. So technically, you should.
How could they know that if not all variants have shown their face yet? Because it always changes.
Yeah.
That's a bullshit statement that somebody should question at some point. This is future proof. Really, dickhead? You've been to the future? What are we talking about here? That's absurd.
No. And they keep flip-flopping.
Yeah, they say that, and there's people that get both doses and still get COVID, the regular one now. So how are you fucking proof of, how are you future-proof to the new variants? Like, they're willing to lie right away and then just apologize for it later.
No, it's fucked up, bro.
Anyways, I don't like the passport idea, George. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm on the fence with that too, but I mean... guys, look, I think I'm not the only one there. And I was talking with my wife the other day. I'm like, I just can't wait to be on the beach. I just can't wait to travel again. And if this is what it takes,
I just can't wait to be on a beach. She's like, "What did you call me?"
Yeah. So yeah, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. There's so many people out there that are they just want to get out of this place, right? Especially eventually when things get better. But if down the line, even if things get quote unquote better, if you will need this digital passport to travel to anywhere, like look at Greece now. You want to travel to Greece, you need a digital passport. There's like, what are you gonna do?
Passports.
What are you gonna?
Hey, what's happening with Texas?
Yeah, what is happening with Texas? The floods?
No,
Or
no,
the
no,
hurricanes,
no, no.
whatever?
I mean, didn't they lift the protocols for COVID a little while back, a few weeks ago, like no masks and all
Yeah.
that shit? What's
Oh,
happening? Are
yeah.
they? Because theoretically, with all the measures we're taking here, if we're still closing up and going crazy, theoretically, shouldn't they all be dead right now?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not
We've
really
given them a
following
month
that.
of free reign. Like, what's happening there? And in Miami, what the fuck's happening in Miami?
I'm searching it up right now.
How come we don't talk about that?
I'm not following how the cases are excelling in the U.S. I have no idea.
Me neither. That's why I'm asking. It's purely curiosity.
The only thing I know is that they're vaccinating like crazy. These guys, man, it's like the vaccine.
Dude, the
rollout
U.S.
in
the U.S. is a
doing-
machine, bro. They don't fuck around.
Yeah.
Operation, what was it? Warp speed or whatever the fuck?
Remember, Biden came out and one of his priorities was to vaccinate 100 million people in the first 100 days or something like that.
Yeah.
So they get. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Texas gets about 20,000 cases per day
Okay.
of
And-
COVID, but they're 29 million. Our population is 8.40.
no, I get it, but is that down or up from before they lifted? That's all I care about.
When did they lift?
Like about a month ago, I think.
In February, eh? It's actually down.
How the fuck is that?
It's actually down. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm looking at January. Oh, fuck. Hold on. Now, okay, right before they lifted, they were down at 5,500. And then when they lifted, they spiked a bit at 10,000, 11,000. Now they're back down to barely 3,000.
How the? You see, this is what I mean. I don't
3,000,
understand what the
4,000.
fuck's going on. I don't understand what the fuck's going on. This is like a math problem that they haven't given me all the formulas for. I don't fucking get it.
I mean, I don't know, man, because it also has to do with testing. I mean,
Yeah.
are they
Yeah.
testing as much as they were before? Are they testing?
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the big difference they did was
variables.
lift the masks and lift the the whatever the fuck they had, those lockdowns, curfews, whatever the fuck. I don't know, man.
Even Florida dropped.
That's impossible. I don't know how the fuck that happened. Everyone's out and about. There's parties.
And Florida, we're not going to go there, but, Florida.
I don't know.
Well, someone in the chat, Chris, says that Miami has declared a state of emergency. So I
Oh, there
don't
we
know.
go. That sounds more like it.
Oh,
That sounds more like it. Check that out, Poseidon. I don't want it to happen. By the way, when I say sounds more like it, doesn't mean that I want that to happen. I don't want anyone to suffer. I'm just saying, given the numbers, that seems more logical.
Yeah.
Also, given the party time there is in Miami.
I'm not seeing anything on a state of... Oh, wait. When was this posted?
Are we being lied
This
to?
was last year. No,
Where's-
I can't
where-
find anything on it.
Are we being lied to in
I
the chat
think
again,
so.
Poseidon?
I
You
think
keep
so,
getting
yeah.
lied to?
Yeah, I think we're being lied to again.
Where's the vaccine? How's the vaccine rollout in the U.S.? Like, what percentage of the population has now been vaccinated?
I don't know.
Can you check that one out, Poseidon?
Yeah.
Sorry, what was your question
Quebec
again, George?
vaccine rollout. Just see what percentage.
No, in the U.S. Quebec.
Oh, in the
we're
US, yeah.
we're at around 15% over here.
15%? That's not a lot.
Of course not. Of course. But this is what we were saying last episode, right? Remember, in the UK, they started lifting restrictions after 60% of the population was vaccinated, especially because they had all the variant cases. And here we started doing it when we were just above 10%. And a lot of experts were thinking, like, what are you doing? You have a country that has been through it. They've had the spikes. They've had a crazy amount of variant cases, and they only started thinking about lifting restrictions when they reached that peak, right? The 60%. We're nowhere near that, and people were wondering what the hell is going on. So, I mean, I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff that I don't understand. Who's giving them information? On what basis are they making the decisions? I don't know. Yeah, the vaccine rollout in the U.S. Hold on, I have it over here.
They're very efficient.
Over 51 million people have been fully vaccinated. So about,
What, 350 million?
yeah, what's that? 20%?
You know, fuck, man, bro. That's so impressive. The machine, eh?
Yeah.
Like when they put their shit together, how much they can get done in the U.S. Like, that's fucking impressive.
Yeah, about 12. Well, what is it? 15%.
No, it's more.
So, yeah, it's more.
Yeah. It is impressive, man. And look, keep in mind one thing. They have the industry, man. These guys are pumping out vaccines like crazy. And that's the big difference. You know, I mean, I'm sure that if Canada had the infrastructure and if we had the industry over here, we'd probably be doing better also.
Yeah, but when last time people spoke about having industry here, we were called racist.
Yeah. You know, we sent them off. And now we're thinking, oh, we need to reopen factories and industries, and everyone now.
If you open a factory, that's racist. Give the job to other countries, you racist. Yeah, but then there's situations like this where you have to manufacture something, dude. You can't always eat out. You have to buy groceries and have something at your fucking house.
Yeah.
Because of a case of emergency, you should be able to cook something. And we found ourselves in that situation where we kept eating out. Oh yeah. And then bam, power outage, no delivery, no DoorDash. Yeah, no Uber Eats.
You're fucked.
And we started starving.
Yeah.
No, you gotta be self-sufficient. You gotta be able to do shit like that.
So what's the plan with you now, Pantelis? Because the main the shows could take the fuck. Why am I losing my words? The theaters.
You
and
having a stroke?
The salle de spectacle. Fuck, I don't know why I think in French. They're open now. Are you planning any shows or what's going on?
The government.
The
government is shutting me down. Actually, from what I hear, because I was looking to go to Quebec, but now they put Quebec back on lockdown.
Yep.
And over here, they're opening up, but not really, because let's say they're saying, okay, you can open up these halls or whatever, these bars, but the bars aren't allowed to sell alcohol, so the bars will not open. So, for example, like the Comedy Nest, I was thinking of going there, but they're not going to open because they can't sell They can't sell bars. They can't sell booze, and they have a curfew.
Yeah.
And people are working. It doesn't make any sense. So they can't make any money. They're not going to lose money. So there's nowhere for me to go until, I don't know, a curfew's lifted. They start letting them sell booze or something. It's very, very, very rare. And the outskirts, the places that were open recently, like Mike was going and all that, I don't know if they're going to stay open now because they're talking about shutting shit down.
Yeah, for 10 days. They're going to re-implement the curfew at 8.
Yeah, because that helps.
And then
Where is this?
Lévis-Gatineau in Quebec City.
Oh, in Quebec you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, they're bringing the curfew back down to 8. Goddamn. And
it's like they're giving you some sort of hope, but then it's like you realize that, there's no hope in this. So concert halls and all these performance halls are going to open up again, and then you're like, "Woof, maybe things are going to start rolling again for us." And then finally, you're like, "Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense. We gotta be out by 8:30."
Yeah,
So
same thing.
by 9.
Well, the bordel is the same thing. The bordel can't sell booze. The only thing happening at the bordel now is like private shows that the comics will put together, right? So let's say the comics will put together shows, I guess, to raise money for the club. And people will go, but there's no booze. So they don't have like the full staff. And Mike's doing his own thing when he does his podcast, right? It's a private event. Like he's booking everything. They can't open regularly because you can't afford it. You can't sell anything to pay the staff.
No.
So it's fucked up, and that can't maintain forever, right? Like,
I don't understand how the fuck people are gonna survive this, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
The other thing is, so restaurants refilled their fridges. That's true. Restaurants bought meat. Restaurants bought all kinds of stuff. And now they said you're going back to lockdown. So all that shit is going to waste.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, the government should have at least implemented a program where you can give those to local shelters and things like that and get paid for it or something for the restaurants.
Yeah.
That's what. Remember, I told you they're thinking of a way to kind of finance the restaurants in these areas that had to open and close again.
I mean, just financing the restaurants is one thing, but also the waste. It seems heartbreaking when we know that we have a homeless problem. We have a poverty issue. It's to me, that's what seems crazy. Is like you'd think they would think of a way. Well, you're gonna waste it anyway. Let's figure out a way to pay you, and you make these meals for the underprivileged, the homeless, the shelters. But instead, they're just like, fuck, I throw it in the garbage. We'll find a way to pay you money.
Because they don't care.
They don't care. That's what I'm telling you. They don't actually care. If they care about your safety and your health, they'd care about feeding hungry people. Yeah.
Man.
God.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That's what the government would do. You have any fucking uplifting stories, George, or are you just the grim reaper of
don't.
news?
And I just brought us down to fucking depression over here.
You
I
son
was just
of
gonna
a-
say that it's crazy because had we been told last year that this is gonna last like well into 2021, nobody would have believed it. Fuck, we thought it was just a thing of a couple months. Remember?
Yeah.
2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Yeah, 2 weeks. We still have 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Yeah, I thought by the end of 2020 everything was gonna be back to normal. I'm like, don't worry about it. It's gonna pass.
I knew that we were preparing for a brave new world, which is why I got my cybernetic implants, George. You think it's gonna set us back, or the good thing is, well, it's also bad. Whoever was not involved in like digital stuff, like I had friends who were like, fuck that, I'm gonna use my old cell phone. I don't want to use this. I don't, they weren't like, I don't have a computer. That's for nerds. How the fuck did you survive?
Yeah,
Just sitting in a room by yourself.
there's actually people like that.
Yeah,
you
there's
know?
people. Yeah, I know people like that. I know people who are against it and they don't want to be monitored. You think Poseidon's the craziest person I know? Poseidon's mid tier.
And I'm the good crazy.
Yeah, he's the good
I'm
crazy.
the
That's why
fun
he's
crazy.
That's why he's mid tier.
Yeah.
No, I know some real crazies, but they're good people. They're not bad people. They're just
No, I didn't mean they were bad, but
they're more susceptible to bullshit than Poseidon is. So they'll fall for bigger shit, not just the UFO fake sightings and the
but
Q stuff.
I didn't actually fall for that.
They'll fall for some big stuff.
I don't actually fall for that. It's
And they won't say stuff like, I don't actually fall for it. They'll admit
Oh
it.
God!
I saw something actually the other day from QAnon. It's like you're realizing the fuck.
Oh no, the delay was because I knew it was gonna get a reaction.
That's what he said. How are you that? What are you, autistic? How are you? Oh, it's Autistic Awareness Day.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Oh yes,
Isn't
it's
it,
my
April 7th?
birthday.
Yeah. No, I thought it was today. At least in Greece, it was today.
Oh,
So make sure all your autistic friends, you make them aware that you know that they are autistic. Is that what you're supposed to do? What do you do on Autistic Awareness Day?
I have no clue.
Shouldn't we have guidelines of what to do, or is everyone just making up days?
Yeah, I don't know. But
Like I saw it on the way in.
It's today.
Yeah, I know it's today. That's what I said.
No, even here because you said Greece, but
I learned it because my soccer team posted it. But and then I was wondering while I was on the way here, I gotta ask, what are we supposed to do during these days? Like what's the, because you normally have a day, there's a point, right?
yeah.
So what are we supposed to do?
I don't know. Yeah, like what kind of awareness? You're right. Like, is there anything we should post? Is there anything we should say? Yeah, you're right. It's funny. I didn't even know this, and it's coincidental. The episode coming out now at noon for Just As Dads. We have a good friend of ours who has an autistic child, and he's been very much involved in autism in Quebec.
And you didn't know this? This is a good coincidence on Autistic Awareness. That's a good coincidence.
I didn't know. We've been planning to have this episode for fucking months now, and it's launching now at noon. So it's a cool little coincidence.
3 things that you can do is don't rush to judgment.
What?
Don't be afraid to interact, and point out their abilities, not the disability.
What are you talking about? That's what we're supposed to do today.
Yeah, how to help raise awareness for autism.
Repeat that.
Don't rush to judgment. Don't be afraid to interact, and point out their abilities, not the disability.
But those seem like actions to be taken like on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's not going to help today. How am I going to help today by being like, I'm not judging autistic people?
But tomorrow, I'm judging the
What a stupid thing. That's just a way to live your life. Who lives their life going around judging autistic people?
Like we should be highlighting programs that have worked and like employment programs that are successful. Like,
Yeah, something like that. Who the fuck goes around being like, you're autistic? Who the fuck does that already? Like, who's the...
Oh, this website makes more sense.
All right, let's hear it, Poseidon.
Okay, get informed, use social media, attend events, and include them.
Attend events? What do you mean attend events?
Organizations that support people with ASD tend to host fundraisers and walks.
Oh, okay, so it just means raise funds.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
but just attending and volunteering.
I don't want to attend anything.
You could be sharing. It's exactly what we said. Spread the news, the good stuff that is happening, the research, the employment programs. The
I like what you
success
said about the
behind-
employment programs. I read a
Listen to the episode because we talk about it. He mentioned because basically the guy that we have on is Nick Catalifos. He just got appointed as the director of the English Montreal School Board.
Very nice.
And he has a son. He's just turned 19. So the whole episode was just to talk about a dad and having to deal with an autistic child. But it turns out that he's very much involved with the Giant Steps Foundation and all these other efforts to increase awareness on autism. And there's an employment program that is available, and it's been a year and a half, a little over a year, and they have partnerships with Weston, and Weston has Loblaws and all these chains, right? All these retail stores.
Yeah.
And they place these kids or young adults to work in these places, and apparently the results are staggering because there's a higher level of loyalty, a higher level of focus. So you get a lot more out of having employees that are on the spectrum than you would with any other normal person, right? So, and there's studies now that are being conducted with that. So it's pretty interesting what's happening.
Now, I'll say one thing. As you know, over here, we're an equal opportunity organization. Proof of my producer. I don't care if you're on the spectrum, you've cracked it. I'll hire you if you're good at your job. But I did see a tweet the other week on Twitter. I had retweeted a little thing that made me kind of tear up. It was a little sad. It was an autistic boy who was looking for a job, and he wrote his job application by hand. And it was actually the best application I've ever seen. Poseidon, bring that up if you can find it. And he just talked about, like, look, this is my name. I'm autistic, but, you know, if you just teach me, I learn really fast. I'm good with technology. If you hire me, I will be a great asset, very loyal and hardworking for the company. And it made me want to fucking cry, okay? That the kid had to mention in it, like, look, I know I'm autistic, so people don't really take me seriously in the beginning, but I'm telling you, I'm going to be your number one employee type of shit.
Yeah.
And so that's why when you said employment programs, I was like, fuck, that is a very good idea. Because, dude, autistic doesn't mean you can't work.
Exactly. And they've implemented, it's been a little over a year. They've modeled it after, I think it was Walgreens, he said on the episode. And, you know, Walgreens is a huge business in the U.S. across the country. And one of the VPs at Walgreens had an autistic child, and he started implementing this in all their stores, and they saw the success. And he has become kind of like a huge popular person now that is hired to consult all over the world on implementing these types of models. So they're doing that here in Montreal and in Quebec in general, and the results from what he's saying, of course, it's still very relatively new. It's only been a little bit over a year, but it's positive. They seem to be very, very positive. And Giant Steps, I don't know if you saw this a couple of weeks ago. They announced a huge project. We're talking about a $51 or $52 million project to build a huge facility for autism and research and education, and they're calling it the Harvard of Montreal, the Harvard of Quebec. Like, it's going to be state of the art. It's going to be huge, and they're in that process now. They've already raised half the funds. There's a lot of stuff happening, and obviously more could be done. And it's a cool episode, man. Everybody, I think everyone should look.
You made me curious. I'm also curious about this Giant Steps thing because I'm against that. I think you should teach them to take normal steps so they draw less attention to themselves.
Yeah,
that's just my strategy. Poseidon, what did you find the letter that I was telling you about?
I'm not gonna find it.
Oh, it's on my Twitter. It's okay. I mean, we're not gonna make them read a letter, but it's on my Twitter. I retweeted it last week.
Yeah.
It was very touching, and I hopefully I didn't even do a follow up. Hopefully the kid got hired because he did seem in his letter enthusiastic, and that's the kind of when I receive CVs like that, that's the kind of shit that I look to find work for people.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe we should be doing more of that. But I'm glad that there's these measures that have been put into place, and soon I guess they will quantify them and try to multiply them as much as possible.
Okay, I'm good with this guy. This guy's nice. What's his name?
It's not new. I remember back in college there was a boy with Down syndrome working in the cafeteria, and I found that amazing. Especially knowing that I have members of my family that are in their 40s.
Can't even work in a cafeteria.
Fuck all. You know, my shoulder hurts. I haven't worked in 10 years.
Complaints, you mean?
Yeah, you know what I mean? I can't work. I can't find a job.
You were talking about the letter that, you know.
Yeah.
You reminded me just now of a video I had seen recently of it was an autistic guy and a regular guy, and he brought him for a drive.
An autistic guy and a regular guy.
No, but, yeah, look, I'm not very good with words. He brought him for a drive in his Lambo because it was his dream. He's never driven a Lambo.
Oh,
because he can't drive. He's he's actually handicapped.
okay.
Also, and the guy was so happy, and that the guy driving started crying, like it touched.
Yeah, no shit,
you
that
know?
would touch you. Yeah,
And
unless you're a fucking brick wall, that would.
And the guy with the autistic guy that had the handicap started apologizing to him because he's like, I'm sorry, just when I get excited, this is, I can't contain myself, this, that. And the guy just started crying, and then I was watching the
Why are you
video.
telling me this? This is just depressing. What are you doing?
No, it's not depressing. It was a happy moment.
You just talked about two people crying.
No, the other guy was happy because he's never been in a Lamborghini. The other guy he was so touched, by his happiness, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That he was crying, and it touched me too. So
Well, I will tell you, don't touch these kids.
No.
Stay away from them. Keep your hands off them. Let them live. But George, what's the guy's name?
Nick Katalifos.
Nick Katalifos, like the people that were selling the furniture.
I don't know. They were selling furniture.
It's the same name, I think. Okay, so fuck. So your new episode drops today at noon, right?
Noon, yeah, great guy. I've known him for years. I knew that he was involved. I just didn't know the details, and we've been trying to get him on the podcast for almost a year now. And it's funny. It just happens to be released on this day. It wasn't planned, and I'm glad it turned out this way. Great episode, yeah.
Good. I like hearing that. And what does he want people to do? Is there like foundations? You raise money? Like what's the?
Yeah, I mean, he goes over the foundations and the organizations that he's worked with. Obviously, the major one here in Quebec is Giant Steps. They do fantastic work, and he went into the details of how they made his son's life much better. And of course, we go through the challenges that remain ahead. Obviously, the early detection is a big issue here. The waiting lines are so humongous in the public sector.
What do they do for early detection?
Yeah, you have to go. You have to see a specialist, and they assess your child, and then they put him on a program. And there's different things that could be done, maybe not to limit it, but to kind of maybe not have it get worse. But the problem is that the waiting lines, the waiting lists are so huge that parents whose child may be autistic only gets assessed when they're like 4 or 5 years old.
And by then it's too late.
Of course, it's too late because the only measures that are in place now, the only early detection that is there is up until 6 years old, because technically at 6 years old you're supposed to start school.
Yeah.
So when they detect your kid, when they assess your kid at 4 or 5 years old, and you only get that 1 year before they start school, there's nothing you can do, right? Of course, there's private institutions that you can send your kid to, but not everyone has these means, right? So this is a huge challenge right now, and I know this for years now. They've been trying to lobby the government to put more resources in earlier detection. So we go through all that. It's a super interesting episode. He opened up a lot about his family and everything that he's done. And look, I'm glad it falls on this day. I'm doing my part. I'm sharing.
You're the only one that raised awareness.
Yeah.
Poseidon raises resentfulness.
How?
When people hear you speak, they resent the autistic community. So Poseidon, cue the music. And you said the organization is called Giant Steps, right?
Giant Steps, yeah.
Is it giantsteps.ca?
I mean, they work with a bunch of other organizations, but I think that's the main one here.
Okay, so Autism Awareness Day. Check that out, Giant Steps for Quebec. If not, check out autism awareness around you. There's got to be programs. There's got to be something you can do. Maybe you can hire someone. Who the fuck knows? We do our part little by little. We make the world a little bit more livable for a lot of people around us. Check out George's new episode today at 12. In just a couple of minutes, it drops on his YouTube channel, Just Us Dads. They got their guest, Nick Katalifos. He's talking about autism. Chris is there too, right? So your whole crew is there doing this episode?
Yeah.
Just Us Dads, the only episode by moms for dads. Every Friday. Plus, there's clips that come out on the YouTube, on the TikToks, everywhere. And if you look at the links in the description, our boy George here has another podcast called The Backstage Podcast, where he interviews important people, influential people, and sometimes people you don't even know about or even like on his podcast, sometimes even in the road. The Backstage Podcast. He's got a couple hard-hitting guests coming up. We don't want to reveal them. It's a bit secret, but they're big time. I'm just telling you, it's going to be interesting conversations. Links in the description. Backstage Podcast. Fucking Just Us Dads. Our boy here, Poseidon, has a new podcast called Annabelle Ilabet. That is Annabelle Ilabet. It is the French version of In Bed with Poseidon. It comes out live every Thursday on the Patreon at 4 p.m. And a new episode dropped yesterday. So if you're on the Patreon, patreon.com/Pantelis, you can watch that now. You can get it in both audio and video format coming up. We're going to have the audio of that first for the patrons, and then a week later, audio only on Spotify and iTunes for everyone else so they can see what they're missing, and then they could be enticed and go check out the video on Patreon. New episodes of 2 Drink Minimum drop on that channel every Wednesday, and it goes live every Tuesday at noon today. If you are a French-speaking member of our fan base, we have a new French cast dropping. So it's already up on Patreon. If you're a patron, you already got it because you're first. But everyone else is going to watch me and David Bocage go at it at noon today. Tomorrow we've got In Bed with Poseidon at 4 p.m.
Yes.
Sunday we got Pantelis live, and we got some good guests for next week's podcasts. Check it out. Thank you guys for watching. Also, don't forget our boy Phil. He's not here today, but Phil Balabanos, links in the description. He's got a podcast every Sunday, and he'll make a badass commercial for you. Balabanos.com. And if you need meats, just meatit.ca. Use the promo code COMEDY. Get yourself 10% off luxurious, healthy meats. That's it. That's all you're going to get. Thank you guys.